Imagine being at the heart of a revolution, fighting for the freedom of an entire nation, only to realize that the man standing beside you, someone you trust deeply, has other plans. This man is Benedict Arnold. He is not just an American Revolution hero, but someone who, at a crucial moment in history, was consumed by his own psychological weaknesses and ultimately became one of history's greatest traitors. Arnold's story is more than just about politics or loyalty. It takes us deep into the human psyche, revealing the dark instincts that drive us, the thirst for revenge, the unfulfilled desires, and the insatiable hunger for power. What makes someone betray their loyalty in pursuit of vengeance? What happens to a person when the pain of personal betrayal transforms into a ruthless quest for justice, even if that means destroying everything around them? This is the study of a divided mind, a mind at war with itself and the world. Today, we'll explore how Benedict Arnold's psychology of revenge not only ruined his life, but helped shape the destiny of a nation. Benedict Arnold began his journey as a hero. He wasn't just an ordinary soldier. He was a leader, a brilliant strategist whose tactics saved key battles for the revolutionary side. During the early years of the American Revolution, he was a central figure, considered by many as one of the young nation's greatest hopes. His bravery in battles like Saratoga was a milestone, and his role in fighting the British forces could not be underestimated. It was he who, at a moment of great danger, organized a resistance that proved crucial to the final outcome of the war. His name was celebrated, his honor unquestionable, and he seemed to embody what a hero should be. However, at one point, this rise was interrupted by something much deeper and more disturbing: his ego. Throughout his career, Arnold was constantly confronted with the frustration of not being recognized as he thought he deserved. His ego, a vital part of the human psyche, was wounded. He had given everything to the revolutionary cause, but the recognition and positions he felt he deserved were never properly awarded to him. This led him to an anguishing reflection on his own worth. With each advancement on the battlefield, he felt ignored. What started as a subtle frustration, the feeling of being overlooked and devalued, soon grew into deep resentment that would take the form of something far more destructive: revenge. But what happens when frustration turns into a desire for revenge? The psychology of revenge, which is the true driving force behind Arnold's actions, reveals something darker about human nature. Revenge isn't just about seeking justice or retaliation. It is often driven by the desire to repair one's ego. Arnold didn't just want to get back at those who had wronged him. He wanted to restore the image he had of himself. He didn't just want to be recognized. He wanted others to know just how valuable he was. When someone feels their value has been diminished or invalidated, the internal pain becomes unbearable. For many, this generates a vicious cycle of self-criticism and frustration, where the only way to deal with the pain is to destroy what caused it, or in this case, who caused it. Arnold then began to realize that while he was a hero of the American Revolution, he would never be treated as such, especially by the upper echelons of command. He was being sidelined, and it was this marginalization, coupled with his growing bitterness, that led Arnold to a more profound reflection. He saw himself as the person who should really be in charge, the one who deserved the glory of victory. He felt that his contributions had been ignored and devalued, and there was no space for someone like him, someone with such ego and ambition. Instead of giving in to despair, Arnold transformed this resentment into action, into betrayal. The psychology of revenge here is clear. It's not just about hurting others, but about restoring what was lost, what one believes is deserved. When Arnold finally entered into negotiations with the British, he wasn't just betraying his comrades. He was trying to redefine his own fate. This betrayal wasn't a random or thoughtless act. It wasn't just a matter of choosing the opposing side in the war. It was the culmination of years of dissatisfaction, of attempts to find recognition in a world that seemed hostile to him. Arnold's psychology of revenge wasn't just about justice or retribution. It was about rewriting the narrative he believed had been unjustly altered by others. He wanted to show the world that he wasn't just a sideline soldier. He wanted to be seen as someone who had the power to dictate the course of events. The desire for control and the need to be recognized, to leave his mark, surpassed any loyalty or principle. By aligning with the British, Arnold wasn't just causing military damage. He was trying to forge a new version of himself, a version where he would be the master of his own story. But this desire for control over his narrative came at a price. By betraying his nation's trust, he not only lost his honor, but became a figure of contempt for all those who had trusted him. He thought that by siding with the British, he could finally find his place. However, he didn't realize that the price of his betrayal would be the total destruction of his reputation and, more importantly, of his identity. Arnold wasn't just seeking revenge against those who had devalued him. His betrayal was also a reflection of the universal human desire for power. Not just political or physical power, but power over how he would be remembered, power over history itself. The desire to be venerated, to be recognized, and to leave an indelible mark, to control one's own fate, was the true motivation behind his alliance with the British. He didn't want to be seen as a villain. He wanted to be seen as someone who had made the right choice, someone who, in the end, would have his own version of history. This desire for power, the need for external validation, blinded Arnold to the consequences of his actions. Like many who seek revenge, he became so obsessed with control that he lost sight of what really mattered. Arnold's revenge didn't bring the satisfaction he sought. On the contrary, it consumed him entirely. He could no longer distinguish between the noble goals of his original struggle and the deep selfishness now guiding him. The psychology of revenge destroyed him from within, turning the hero of the American Revolution into one of the most infamous traitors in American history. Benedict Arnold's story is a warning about the dangers of the psychology of revenge. When frustration and wounded ego transform into an insatiable quest for justice, the results can be devastating. Revenge, as we've seen, rarely brings peace. More often, it is a response to internal pain, an attempt to heal wounds that will never fully close through the destruction of others. And in the end, Arnold's story isn't just about betrayal. It's about the deep human need for validation, for recognition, and ultimately, for being someone worthy of being remembered. But as Arnold learned the hard way, that is rarely possible without a cost. When we seek revenge, ultimately, we may just be destroying ourselves. In the end, the story of Arnold teaches us that the true enemy isn't outside of us, it's within us. The psychology of revenge reveals the darkest side of human nature, the side that is willing to sacrifice everything, even morality and honor, in the name of an insatiable ego. Sometimes, the greatest enemy to redemption is our own need to be recognized. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and share this content with anyone you think needs to hear this message. Until next time.